Hi, so yes, we're going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Wikipedia. And to do that, we're going to look at some of the barriers that it needs to overcome to achieve its mission, which is, as James Whale pictured here says, to supply knowledge in everybody's language. But right now it's very centric on English, and we're going to look at some of the issues. And so three other images there, a news image, a disruptor here, and a thon and a character from a console game. These feature in this short presentation about the anniversary of Wikipedia. Okay, so you're going to find, as you know, the first four letters of the password in this video clip, which connected to the three letters that you have from Teams, help you unlock the review of 10 things you need to know for this topic. Okay, just from last week, we were looking at heuristics. The idea of speculative thinking creates a gap. The gap can lead to misconceptions, and these can create, reduce objectivity. But what if that objectivity was reduced even on an encyclopedia? And that's what we're going to look at then for the session. Wikipedia, the Wikipedia gap at 20, the barriers it faces. And the first point, as we already covered, was that James Whale, the founder, has already noticed that the enterprise, the company, has not achieved its ambition yet. But positively, he draws on this, saying maybe it can help us. The poverty of languages in certain countries, the poverty of wiki entries in a certain language. Maybe these three elements can be drawn from that as indicators of what's going on in that country. So the literacy rates in the country, the access to broadband, and the access to computers. They're imperfect, but maybe they are good indicators of what the state of the country is. The second point is another barrier. That we had geographical barrier, and now gender barrier. Okay, a fact. It's quantified that 16% of editors are female, the rest are men. Is that a problem for the content? It shouldn't be. People can put their gender aside to notice talent and profile the talented people. However, it seems that Wiki is biased towards male biographies. Only 18% are female. One thing I would be wary of is that even though 16% of editors are said to be female, maybe a lot of women identify as men to avoid some kind of discrimination on the platform. Okay, so we're going to look at some points: blind spots, unblocking, edit wars, and the point of view bias. Okay, so these are going to be for the MCQs. Okay, so the third point that you need to know is the amount of detail in a wiki entry, in a Wikipedia entry. In 2018, the Wikipedia entry for the floods in Sudan was reduced to simply 3 lines, a couple of links, and that has been updated. You can see there's a link to 2020 Sudan floods. Sadly, this year the floods have happened again, but on the other side, it's been acknowledged in a wiki entry this time. And why? Probably because in 2018, the mainstream media ignored the floods, so therefore it could not meet the criteria to be given a wiki entry. This time, the floods have been covered more extensively by the mainstream press, and as you can see, there are lots and lots of references to be added to a wiki page. Your profile or your event or your company needs to have been in the public space often and spoken about. So it's clear that progress has been made on geographic bias. It's clear that progress has been made on geographic bias. Okay, is clearly the case. Okay. So the fourth point is another blind spot. This time on a biography. This is the Nobel, as you can see, the female Nobel Prize winner who did not receive a wiki entry, even though her achievements are that she has a physicist at the top of her level. The point being that she was never spoken about in the mainstream press. So yeah, that oversight of people that are marginalized, especially women, it's a gender bias. However, now Strickland, she does have a profile on the platform, but it's not because Wiki adapted its policy. It's simply because now there's a lot of talk about this person, Strickland, so she meets the criteria to be added to the platform. Okay. Okay, about unblocking, a little story. On a trip to Istanbul, I met a tech nerd who spoke about this block. Turkey went black, actually, with Wikipedia. It was banned for a while. It came back early this year, last year, and in fact, January this year. And it was welcomed back by officially by the platform Wikipedia. But the point I would like to say here is that I, on my trip to Istanbul, spoke to somebody, and even though it was blocked, it wasn't necessary to change your IP address. Simply, the idea was you put a prefix of a 0 dot to the URL. So if the page was seen to be blocked, you would simply prefix the same URL in the head with a 0 dot, and that would probably, I imagine, send you to a mirror site. So that's the point on censorship. The Turkish citizens were able, if they knew about it, to get around the ban by simply typing a 0 dot, okay, to the URL. Okay, so here we come to GTA. Okay, Bellic. Okay, so what is it about Bellic, the GTA character? What do we need to know? Okay, his in-universe profile states his nationality as Eastern European. So this has created what's called an edit war, and his profile has been edited 12,000 times just to state his nationality, and that and the edit war is simply people keep changing the data, the details, because they think they know best. And the game is said to be set. This is what you need to know for point 6. The game is said to be set during the mid-90s Bosnian conflict. But when it comes to his profile, Nico's profile, people assume that he's Bosnian. But as you can see here, it's been edited now, origin, Eastern European. Okay. So I thought at that point, we might look at some of the stats here. Strangely, look, active editors in Bosnia, only 46, and registered users, new registered users, 53. Okay, and a registered user needs to be active in the last 30 days. That's how it qualifies. So the English language, let's move to the English language comparison here. Okay, so you have Bosnia on the left, and then the other two, we have French and English. So we can say there's an English Wikipedia, a French Wikipedia, and a Bosnian Wikipedia. But the English language, as you can see, it's the majority of the active the active accounts, 130,000 active accounts. Most of the Wikipedia entries are in English. So basically for point 7, it's knowing that English dominates almost the entirety of this platform. Okay. Yeah, another point of view bias, how to overcome the barrier of point of view bias. Well, this is Alice Backer, the founder of AfroCrowd. And this is where the password comes in. This is the password. There's 4 letters. It's AFRO. So the prefix to your password is AFRO, Afro. Okay, plus the part that you already have in Teams. Okay, so what's great about what Alice Backer does, she's created this network of people that as part of AfroCrowd, who simply are there to rectify Wikipedia's lack of articles about Black history and Black culture. So this is a really positive thing. The purpose of what she's doing is simply to rectify Wikipedia's lack of articles about Black history and Black culture. That's what you need to know for point 8. Okay, and there's another idea. There's them in situation during an editathon. And as you can see here, an interesting logo has been disrupted, that has been modified with more ideas than the original. Okay, then POV, point of view bias. Okay, what 2 differences to know: availability bias and selection bias. Availability bias is, in fact, why is it important that Wiki is diverse? It's because Wiki actually is partly the brain of Alexa. Ask Alexa a question and Alexa will be sourcing the knowledge from Wikipedia. And if that knowledge is skewed and imbalanced, if only the available knowledge is predominantly Eurocentric, then the availability bias is going to be just European. Selection bias, this is slightly different. We can see selection bias here. If you type the name of physicist by category, mostly you're just gonna, Google is gonna select only in the search what you see here. And why is that happening? Selection bias. Selection bias is when, for instance, we search something and we click, and then it starts to become more popular, then it gets reflected back and reflected back again to somebody else. So the more we click on an object, the more it gets reflected back, selection bias. And so the more we start clicking on more diverse links and names, biographies, the more that we can improve the diversity of the Google, for instance. Okay. Okay, and number 10, the 10th point here, is just extra play. Okay, who do we have here? Well, this is the voice. This is Michael Hollick, the voice of Nico Bellic. And I just want you to check the video. There's a link to this short 2-minute video clip in the description. And yeah, you'll see it's about which 2 catchphrases of Bellic's does he say in the video. Okay, so that gives you an idea of where Wikipedia is going, some of the barriers it needs to overcome. All right, so submit the MCQ and I'll see you soon. All right, okay, ciao.